Lynchings took the lives of at least 6,500 Black people from the end of the Civil War, 1865, to 1950. After 200-plus failed attempts over the more than 100 years since the first anti-lynching bill was introduced, finally, lynching, or the public execution of someone without due process, has been made a hate crime. And not just the act of lynching itself, but participating in the planning of such an act is also now a hate crime. So how did we get here, and why did it take so long? The first anti-lynching bill was introduced in 1900 by the then lone Black member of Congress, but it never made it out of committee. That bill would have made lynching a federal crime. In 1918, after repeated attempts to introduce legislation, another anti-lynching bill gained some traction in the form of a hearing, but then it got stuck in committee again. In 1922, anti-lynching legislation passed the House, but over in the Senate, there was some, we can call it spirited opposition from southern states. And using a favorite blocking maneuver, the filibuster, the bill failed. The bill's sponsor reintroduced the legislation in every Congress in the 1920s, but it didn't go anywhere. No vote, no hearing, nothing. In the mid-1930s, Congress tried again, but then President Franklin D. Roosevelt didn't want political fallout from his southern white voters. In total, nearly 200 anti-lynching bills were introduced under 8 different presidents between 1900 and 1947. During that time, thousands of people, mostly Black, were lynched, with the actual number still unknown, as these acts, which were commonplace acts of terror both before and after the Civil War, often went unrecorded. Throughout the 1950s, as the civil rights movement ramped up, there were a handful of proposed bills, but no action in Congress, even after the murder of 14-year-old Emmett Till. He was lynched in 1955 after being accused of flirting with a white woman, and still, despite the heinous nature of his murder, Congress did not act. Between 1965 and 2018, nothing was proposed to stop lynching, but in 1968, hate crimes, crimes based on someone's race, skin color, religion, became outlawed. And in 2005, the Senate did pass a resolution expressing remorse for not acting, but still not acting. Finally, in 2018, the Senate took a vote on an anti-lynching bill, this time to make it a federal hate crime. And it passed unanimously, but the House never voted on the measure. Rinse and repeat in 2019, and reverse that in 2020. A version of the bill passed the House, but was blocked in the Senate. Now, in 2022, 122 years after the first introduction of an anti-lynching bill, it's officially a federal hate crime.